There's nothing like roaring engines and these fast cars and these difficult terrains in which the tracks are on and driving all around the world. I always wonder if drivers ever actually feel like how movie drivers usually talk about driving. Not to say that they don't, and if some of them do, great, awesome. I'm glad that it could be more than just money and fame. But I always legit feel like I think they always do it simply because of just how they either feel in terms of just driving the car or just being into it and just knowing that, hey, I'm really skillful at driving cars and being very much skillful on maneuvers and techniques on where to drive, because you always feel like how people in films describe driving cars, or at least being a driver in motorsports, always wonder if they actually always stick to how they feel personally about feeling of just everything going quiet and just hearing the engines going. That's all you think about. I'm always curious on if that's the case, because a lot of the times movies like this tend to kind of always exaggerate how people, especially drivers in motorsports, tend to usually be. But again, just saying.
In the world.
F1, or F1 the movie, is directed by Joseph Kosinski with a screenplay by Ehren Kruger and a story by Joseph Kosinski and Ehren Kruger. The film stars Brad Pitt, Damsom Idris, Kerry Condon, Tobias Menzies, and Javier Bardem. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, a Formula One driver comes out of retirement to mentor and team up with a younger driver. I don't know that much about Formula One, okay? I will get that out the way. Don't know a whole lot. All I know is that is just about driving cars in different parts of the world, and only the best of the best go there and represent corporations or driving establishments to just prove how much the company is worth and their value in driving these amazing cars, these fast cars, and how they perform, how they are maneuverable, how they are able to handle it under tight and close quarter conditions when it comes to turns, and making sure that drivers are always passing one another. I mean, there's so much to it, but I'm just saying I don't know that much other than just kind of the basic formatting of it. With a movie centering on this sport with Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski at the helm, I became more interested in how this could become such a very fun film. Because if you saw Top Gun Maverick back in 2022, post pandemic, you know how much that movie helped movie theaters out a ton. Became the highest grossing movie of that year, and it really showcased why movie theater experiences, regardless on what you feel about the movie itself. I'm talking about the technical and just look appeal of the movie. If for nothing else, it makes you think there is a reason why films are meant to be seen on a big screen, because of stuff like what you saw in that film. Along with having Brad Pitt involved in this project, I became even more curious on how this could be really engaging, because Brad Pitt, electrifying actor, an actor that can bring so much charm, charisma, likability, and roguish nature to him. There's a reason why he is an actor who is somebody who can really just make an entire movie feel so cool. Even it could be the stupidest movie in the world, and if you get Brad Pitt, he knows how to just work his magic and make sure that if for nothing else, he or just the movie itself can seem actually cooler than how it can be. Of course, it would be your stereotypical sports movie. Let's face it, in a genre in which case you see a lot of times play itself very safe and very familiar with its tropes. I mean, that's bound to happen, but upon watch, this was a great racing movie to watch on the big screen. Hands down, out of the summer movies that are out right now, this is the one. If you get a chance to see it in theaters, recommendation, but saying, if you get a chance, it is worth it. Because how amazing this film is, and how enthralling it can be when showing those racing sequences and how the cinematography works. Although it has a few issues that I do see problems with, and I could see maybe even some people griping about one in particular, it was a fun time at the movies. I am telling you, you guys, if you want a movie that really showcases how much movies, especially in the summertime, can really give you such an engaging and very heart pounding feeling of tension and excitement, this is the movie to do it. Before addressing my gripes, here are the positives that I do have to say. Performances are stellar. Everyone in the cast, especially Pitt, brings emotions and charm to their roles, making sure that they are bringing their A game. Brad Pitt, an actor who needs no introduction. This man has had a career for many, many years. This man is in his 60s. He still looks damn good for his age. And let me tell you, he can still carry an entire film just by his persona, his nature. No matter what, Brad Pitt can walk into a room and just know how to work it all together because of how much he is so laid back and how easy he is to work with other actors, but also just to really elevate a film into, again, being cool, but rather also bringing some sort of emotion to it and vulnerability, how he goes about with what happens in this movie. As Sonny Hayes, a former Formula One driver, down on his luck, this is a guy who feels like he had an opportunity, he missed it. And Brad Pitt, he just brings this character to life in so many ways in terms of being just charming, likable, but also to just bringing out the emotions that are needed for a movie like this, that it doesn't feel as if it's a cop out. It feels like it is natural on how he goes about it. Damsom Idris, he's a young up and coming actor coming to his own. He is also really good in this as Joshua Pierce, a younger, inexperienced Formula One driver who butts heads with Sonny. And I think he does a good job of really showcasing the immaturity of what it takes to want to have people respect you and to know who you are, but also feeling like you're entitled to it in a way where you're working as hard as you can. You feel like you've earned it, but you still have to earn the respect of so many people than just, hey, I'm on this team. And him and Brad Pitt, they work seamlessly. They are amazing in this movie, and they feel as if they really do have a butting head relationship that goes back and forth throughout the film and makes this a very entertaining watch to see these two kind of clash with one another. Javier Bardem is also really charming and really likable the same way as Brad Pitt, but in a way where you just know that, yeah, he's the corporate guy, but he's one that is actually the more decent and normal one rather than, how usually corporate people are in either the real world or in the movie world. And he really showcases how much Javier Bardem could just be fun. He can just be entertaining. He can really make a movie really exciting to watch. And him and Brad Pitt as well have amazing chemistry. You really feel like these guys really know each other and how much history is between there and how they've dealt with it and how they've gone through life through those pressures and through those issues. They are amazing in the film. Kerry Condon is also pretty good. She does bring a sense of intrigue into how Brad Pitt kind of acts around her, and she and him also are good together in the film. The direction is phenomenal. Director Joseph Kosinski delivers a heart-pulsing and fun racing film that will get audiences going. Just like with Maverick, he brings the old school styling of directing for today. If there's one thing I respect for Joseph Krasinski, it's that this man has really, I think, cracked the code on how to really give audiences a summer blockbuster feeling that you just don't see a lot of these days, where you feel like it is drenched in either franchises or really use of visual effects. Not here. I feel like he really went back to the old school roots, how he went back to days where you had to use practicality. You had to be grounded in how you're portraying this particular sport. And I think he does that very well. And he really showcases how Formula racing is and how dangerous also exciting it can be, and it's all thanks to him. The cinematography is spectacular. Cinematographer Claudio Miranda shoots a sleek and thrilling experience for moviegoers to be excited to see. If for nothing else, this should be the reason to see this film in theaters. If you are curious on actually watching it, if you want me to recommend something, if for any movie out there at the moment, this is the one. This movie looks amazing. It is so gorgeous. Sure, style over substance, but if you're going to showcase it all to its full potential. Here, he does that. How the cars move, how they are able to capture all the drivers, camera angles on how the cars turn, drift is amazing. I feel like he watched a lot of F1 camera techniques and a lot of behind the scenes talks with a lot of the drivers, and he blends this all together to make an experience that you just don't feel like you're never going to see a lot of. And I highly feel like if you want something that is of grounded, good quality that really showcases the practicality of it, this is a movie to do it because it is amazing to look at. The racing sequences are fantastic. Every race feels enthralling and exhilarating every time it happens. Having it all feel grounded in tone and style. There's never a point where it jumps the shark, makes it super ridiculous, so outlandish that it just starts to completely feel like a different movie or feel like is now going into straight up pure fiction. No, this feels like this is all grounded in how those racing sequences are handled, how they showcase it, how it is all put together is amazing on how much that everyone that was involved in the driving sequences did their parts, and they did them so well because of how much you believe in those sequences whenever you're in the car or seeing the perspective of like the outside of the vehicle and how it showcases those tight turns, quick maneuvers is all there. The music is engaging. Composer Hans Zimmer brings a loud and slick score that complements the film's style and tone. As always, Zimmer never misses. I would be hard pressed to ever find a score from Hans Zimmer where I said, this man sucks. This man is terrible. I swear, I feel like this man works on every movie score out there as of right now. Last year, this man was working on Doom. I bet you he's probably working on a movie score now, but in the meantime, he's working on this movie score, and he does it phenomenally. He really showcases how quiet but also very chaotic it can be in the moment, and the music just goes along with the emotions of the film. Yeah, it just feels like Zimmer, he's like the movie whisperer. He just knows how a score should go and how it should feel, and this proves it very well. The writing is solid. Writer Ehren Kruger manages to craft a script that brings the charm but effective conversations together, keeping the banter from being stale. When it comes to sports movies, you have to have writing that really helps the actors even more. Because if you're just relying on the actors to just carry those scenes, forget it, you have a terrible script. But if you have a script that is able to be manageable and actually work into what the film is and elevate the actors even more, that's a good sign. Because this could have easily been the worst script ever. This could have been throwaway. And thankfully, Ehren Kruger, he didn't do that. He managed to pull off a script that was able to be interesting and fun, and it was even more elevating when watching the actors in those scenes go back and forth with each other to keep the writing from ever crossing into feeling like it is bad. The production is excellent. With a film centering on Formula One, they were able to gain access to the cars, crew pits, and have custom like suits for the actors to wear, or even just the drivers themselves, feeling more authentic than ever than any other like movie out there as of right now. I feel like this is a really authentic film and how it wants to be, how it wants to go about it. And there's never a point, like I said, where it just becomes like, okay, that would never happen. Maybe, maybe, but I bet you most of the time, looking at this movie or at least seeing what this movie is like, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that feels like, okay, no, that would never happen. No, no, no. Like everything, I feel like people who are into Formula One would look at every sort of sequence or any sort of mechanic in this movie and say, no, that would happen, that would work, or that's how it would be done. And that to me is a sign of having a production team utilize something that they don't have to spend so much time on to the point of feeling like they have to construct it themselves. They could just utilize what Formula One uses themselves and use it to its full effect. The story is enjoyable, though it follows a very simple and repetitive plot that you've seen done before, and maybe somebody could say it was done better in this movie. There's nothing wrong with having just a normal, simple plot, especially for a sports film. There's nothing to it that needs to be much more than that. Seeing a hardened and down on his luck racer team up with a young and hotshot rookie was still good. At the end of the day, it was still a fun story enough where you were following along with Sonny Hayes and helping out this Formula One racing team with this young rookie and trying to shape them up to be a little bit better and a little bit more experienced. And for that, as much as, yeah, it is a simple story, sometimes simple is better, because if you try to make it complicated, then no, don't do it at all. It was a great time, but there were a few issues that do keep it from fully going full throttle. I really want to love this movie. I think this movie is a summer film to watch and to experience, but I do have my problems. So here are now the negatives. The pacing runtime is exhausting. As the movie goes on, it switches from fast to slow, which drags in the middle. It gets the job done with doing the racing sequences, and then in the middle they meander on things, or it feels like they are doing montages of different races, things you kind of tend to see a lot in sports movies. With a runtime of 2 hours and 35 minutes, it felt too long. I don't think this needed to be 2 hours and 35 minutes. I think they could have gotten away with something much less than that. It's fine if it's in the 2 hour range, because I get it. You gotta have some sort of epic nature to a driving movie, but I just don't think it needed to be 2.5 hours, because it just felt like by the time it gets to the end, as much as you are having fun, you're also like, okay, I feel like we could wrap this up and be done here, but it just keeps on going and never knew when to actually feel like enough. It felt like it was overstaying its welcome. The editing is inconsistent. During the racing sequences, it works so well. It is beautiful editing and helping the movie out. However, outside of that, it varies from choppy to decent. Because a lot of times when there are sometimes conversations that these characters are having, it is very messy. It can be very choppy a lot of times, especially near the beginning when somebody meets the team for the first time. And you still kind of feel like that throughout the rest of the movie, feeling mixed overall. I wish the editing was a lot more tighter and actually knew when to feel like it is natural or whether to feel like it is appropriate for the scene, because the quick cut editing a lot of times it just felt jarring and it felt messy. And then a lot of times when they don't cut so much, it just felt like they were meandering. There was never a sweet spot for them to really find that balance. If people are looking for a great theater experience, this movie will do that. I am being as serious as it can be. If you want a movie going experience to see on the big screen, hell, if you want to see this on IMAX, go for it. I'm telling you, this movie is worth the price of admission. It very much so is. Everything here feels like a throwback to old sports films. It doesn't feel like ones that are trying way too hard to be like old sports films. This one just is, and it succeeds in all of those levels. It might be familiar, but it still works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it works out all well enough, it is able to pass on by with ease. And for as much as I'm not crazy about Formula One, and I still don't feel like I am, even after watching the movie, I can't deny watching this film made me go like, wow, it's really interesting to see how Formula One and how they are able to drive and calculate the wind speed and the turns and when to do this and that. It is insane to me. It's crazy. For that, this movie was a ton of fun, and watching Brad Pitt just drive through these scenes and charm his way, but also still bringing out the emotions when he needs to, is all there in spades. I'm going to give F1 an 8 out of 10. I really do think that a lot of people, if they want that movie theater going experience, sit there in a theater, watch this on the big screen, you're going to get that. It is amazing. It is fantastic to see Joseph Kosinski take what he got from Top Gun Maverick, apply it to this movie, and feel like he still can know what to look for in a summer film, or at the very least a sports film. It is all there. It is amazing, and for that I have a really good time with it. Soon I will be doing a special review, and then soon a review for Jurassic World Rebirth. So yes, look forward to those reviews and other reviews coming soon.